Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers, schemers, and the silently unhinged, welcome to the abyss, the place where whispers become wars and shadows swallow empires. Tonight, I'm not here to tell you how to win. No, that's too easy. That's too nice. I'm here to show you something much darker, something much deeper, something that will shake you to your core and leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about success and power. You see, most people live in a world where noise reigns, where the loudest voices get heard, where the biggest gestures get noticed, where the ones who shout the loudest are the ones who are considered to be the winners. But here's the thing, all that noise, all that chaos, it's just a distraction. It's just the surface. The real moves, the real power, the real change doesn't come from the loudest voice in the room. It comes from the ones who know how to move in silence, who understand that true dominance isn't about making a scene. It's about making moves that no one sees coming until they're too late. You are on another dimension. This is not the world that you think you know. This is not the reality that you've been conditioned to accept. You're operating in a realm where time and space aren't as they seem, where your choices echo through eternity in ways you can't even begin to comprehend. Every thought, every action, every silent decision you make sends ripples through this dimension. And those ripples don't just fade away. They grow, they expand, they consume. The silence is not empty. It's filled with the weight of everything you've ever done or will ever do. The darkness around you is not a void. It's a reflection of your soul. It's a place where your true power can be unleashed, but only if you understand how to harness it. Because let's be clear, in this dimension, it's not the strong who survive. It's not the loud who succeed. It's the ones who know how to move in silence, how to disappear into the shadows and let their actions speak louder than anything they could ever say. If you're still looking for validation from the outside world, if you're still chasing applause or recognition, you're already lost. You've already lost the game before you even started playing. This dimension isn't about the world seeing you. It's about making the world bend to your will without them ever knowing how or why it happened. That's the power you're after. That's the secret you're chasing. And don't think for a second that this is an easy path. Moving in silence requires a level of discipline, a level of mastery that most people can't even begin to imagine. It means you have to embrace the darkness. You have to learn to thrive in the void. You have to accept that you might never get the applause you think you deserve. You might never get the recognition you crave. But that's the point. You're not doing this for them. You're doing this for you. You're doing this because you know that in the end, the ones who succeed are the ones who can make their moves without anyone even knowing they're making them. The ones who can move through the shadows, unnoticed until the world suddenly wakes up and realizes that everything has already changed. Understand this. Silence isn't weakness. Silence isn't passivity. Silence is the calm before the storm. It's the predator stalking its prey in the dark. It's the storm gathering strength in the clouds before it unleashes its fury on everything in its path. When you move in silence, you are controlling everything around you. You are creating a narrative that no one can see until it's too late. The ones who are loud, the ones who are always scrambling for attention, they're playing checkers while you're playing chess. They're making short-term moves while you're laying the groundwork for a future they'll never even see coming. And here's the hardest truth of all. You'll have to sacrifice. You'll have to give up the instant gratification. You'll have to abandon the need for recognition. You'll have to endure the loneliness that comes with being misunderstood. You'll have to walk this path without anyone cheering you on, without anyone patting you on the back. And that's the moment when most people break. They want to quit. They want to give up. They want to go back to the comfort of the noise. But if you can endure that silence, if you can stay in that darkness long enough, you'll see the truth. You'll realize that while everyone else is chasing temporary victories, you're building an empire that no one can touch. The silence will give birth to results that will shake the very foundations of the world around you. In this dimension, the results aren't just seen, they're felt. They rip through the fabric of reality and force everyone around you to acknowledge the power you've silently built. They'll look at you and wonder how it happened. They'll question where you came from, how you got to where you are. And they'll never understand the truth. They'll never understand that it was the quiet moments, the long nights, the sacrifices, the ones no one saw, that built you into the force you are today. And that's the beauty of it. You don't need their approval. You don't need their recognition. You don't need anything from them, because in the end, they'll be the ones left scrambling, trying to figure out how you did it, while you're already on to your next move. But the truth is that those deafening results that will eventually shake the world around you, they don't come without a price. The silence is heavy, the shadows are dark, and the road ahead is long. But if you are willing to embrace it, if you are willing to stand in the darkness and face what you truly are, then the world will eventually bend to your will. You'll shape the reality around you without anyone even knowing how. They'll see the results, they'll feel the power, but they won't know the cost. They won't know the price you paid to get to where you are. And that's the beauty of it. That's the power of the silent move. That's the essence of true dominance. You don't need to be seen to be feared. You don't need to be heard to make an impact. You just need to keep moving in the shadows and let the results speak for themselves. Now I know many of you are afraid. I know many of you doubt yourselves. I know the road ahead seems uncertain. But understand this, fear is nothing but a shadow. It's an illusion created by your mind to keep you from reaching your true potential. The only thing that stands between you and everything you desire is your own willingness to move forward. The only thing that holds you back is your inability to embrace the silence, the darkness, the unknown. If you can conquer that fear, if you can step into the abyss and understand that this is where true power lies, then there is nothing that can stop you. You will become unstoppable. You will become a force that can't be ignored. You will become the one who moves silently while the world around you trembles. And so the question is simple. Are you ready to step into this dimension? Are you ready to embrace the silence? Are you ready to make moves so powerful, so unseen, so deafening in their impact that the world will never know what hit it? Because if you are, then step forward, step into the darkness, step into the silence, and let the results be your legacy. Let the world remember your name, not because you screamed it into existence, but because you moved in silence and made the world bend to your will without ever needing to say a word. The abyss is waiting for you. The shadows are waiting for you. The power is yours for the taking. But you must move in silence, and you must be ready to endure the weight of that silence, because it's only in that silence that the deafening results will emerge. And when they do, no one will be able to deny the power you've built. No one will be able to ignore the empire you've forged, and no one will be able to take it from you. But don't be fooled into thinking that this is the end. No, it's only the beginning. You've stepped into a dimension where most people would be too afraid to even glance, but you've chosen to walk through it. You've chosen to wield the kind of power that doesn't come from the accolades, the handshakes, or the applause. No, the power you're building doesn't come from those shallow forms of validation. It comes from something deeper, something more elemental. It comes from the silence you've learned to thrive in. The world won't recognize it until it's too late. And by that time, you'll be too far ahead for anyone to catch up. When you walk through this dimension, you're walking on a path most will never even see. It's not a path made of neon signs, bright lights, and loud speakers. That path is for the weak. That path is for those who think power is something you wear on your sleeve, something you shout out into the void and hope someone hears. No, the path you've chosen is a quiet one, a dangerous one, a path where the only sound you'll hear is the echo of your own steps, and the only thing you'll see is the shadow of your own ambition. This is a path where the strong thrive and the weak fall away, where only those with the stomach to endure the emptiness, the silence, and the darkness survive. And when you stand in that silence, you'll realize something. You'll realize that the noise of the world was never your enemy. It was a distraction, a tool to keep you from realizing your potential. But now you see the truth. You see that the loudest voices were the ones most afraid of the silence, the ones who needed the constant buzz, the constant affirmation, because they were too weak to stand alone. But you stand alone. You stand in the silence, and you own it. You own the power that comes from knowing exactly who you are, knowing exactly what you are capable of, and knowing that nothing, not a single soul, can take that from you. The world will try to convince you that you need validation, that you need to prove yourself. It will tell you that without the loud applause, without the constant recognition, you're nothing. But that's a lie meant to keep you in the realm of mediocrity, a lie meant to keep you chasing shadows while you're too distracted to create the kind of power that comes from within. But you're beyond that now. You're beyond the need for the outside world to acknowledge you. Your acknowledgement comes from something much more potent, your inner drive, your inner force. And the moment you realize that, you unlock a power that no one can touch. People will try to mimic you. They'll try to replicate what you've done, and they'll fail. They'll scream about how they want the same success, the same results. They'll follow the formula, try to copy your moves, but they will never understand the true essence of what you've done. They won't understand the sacrifices, the silence, the relentless grind that led you here. Because you see, the results are never just the results. They are the manifestation of a process that was forged in isolation, in discipline, in silence. You didn't ask for permission. You didn't beg for attention. You simply did the work. And that work is what speaks for you. That's what people will fail to replicate. The silent moves that led to deafening results. Those can never be copied. And so, you must remain vigilant. The world will try to convince you that you need to explain yourself, to justify your actions, to seek approval for the way you move. Ignore it. You're not here to make sense of your journey to others. You're here to make them understand, eventually, that your silence was never weakness. Your silence was power in the making. Your silence was the furnace in which your empire was forged. You'll have to walk this road without external validation, and that's the price you'll pay for greatness. Because greatness isn't built in the spotlight, it's built in the shadows. It's built in the quiet, in the unnoticed, in the long hours where no one's watching. But as time passes, those results you've quietly created, those moves you've made without ever needing recognition, will come to fruition. You'll watch as others scramble to understand how you've achieved what they thought was impossible. And they'll never truly understand it. They'll never know what it took to get there. And in that space, in that moment, you'll realize something powerful. The silence you've inhabited, the quiet moves you've made, have built something stronger than any external validation ever could. They've built a fortress, a legacy, a power that will ripple through time. But let's not sugarcoat this, shall we? You're still in the abyss. You're still in the dimension where nothing is guaranteed. There will be moments when the silence will feel like a weight, when the darkness will feel like it's swallowing you whole, and when the world around you will scream for attention. But understand this, that feeling, that pressure, that is not weakness. That is the crucible in which your strength is tested. It's where you are being forged into the thing that cannot be stopped. And when the time comes, you will rise out of the abyss, not as someone who was dragged out, but as someone who walked out with their own 2 feet, with their own will, with their own silent moves that no one could have predicted. You see, the abyss isn't a place of fear, it's a place of opportunity. It's a place where you can reshape your reality in ways that the world can't even fathom. While others are lost in the noise, in the chaos, you stand at the edge of something greater than you can comprehend. You feel it in your bones and see it in the silence around you. This is not just another moment. It's the beginning of a new reality, one that doesn't follow the rules you've been taught, one that doesn't care about the noise and distractions of the world. You've crossed into another dimension, and now you are walking a path where the only thing that matters is the movement of your mind, body, and spirit. This is a dimension where silence reigns, but the results are louder than anything you've ever experienced. The world you knew is no longer. You're in a place where the old rules do not apply, and yet this place is where true power is born. It's strange, isn't it? You expected loud victories, grand announcements, perhaps even a roaring triumph at every corner. But here, in this dimension, it is different. The victories come in the quietest of forms. You won't hear them. You won't see them coming, but you will feel them. The silence that surrounds you will be the very thing that propels you to heights you never thought possible. While others are caught up in noise and distraction, you will remain calm, focused, and relentless. You will make your moves in the stillness and watch as the world reacts to the deafening consequences of your quiet determination. In this new dimension, the rules of the old world are irrelevant. The world that tried to fit you into neat little boxes, that tried to measure your worth by standards you never agreed with. This world is fading, slipping away into the background as you move forward. You have transcended it. The noise that once held you back is now a distant hum in the far reaches of your mind. And you are the force that will make the earth tremble beneath your feet. Your movements, though silent, will create ripples that will turn into waves, and those waves will crash against the shores of everything that once held you in place. And when they do, they won't be able to stop you. You're here now, in this place where you understand that action is more than a sound, more than a show, more than an image you present to the world. Action is a quiet thing. It's a quiet decision. It's a quiet determination. And in this silence, in this stillness, you are shaping something greater than what anyone else could ever understand. They'll look at you and wonder how you're doing it, how you're moving forward with no noise, no drama, no spectacle. They won't realize that the most deafening results come from the quietest of decisions. Your movements may be imperceptible to the naked eye, but make no mistake, the results will speak for themselves. You don't need applause, you don't need recognition, you don't need a stage or a spotlight, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. The world around you may still be obsessed with accolades, with fame, with the flash of the moment, but you've moved past that. You've understood that true power is born not in what others can see, but in what you can create when no one is watching. You've learned that true mastery comes not from noise, but from the ability to move without sound and still leave a mark that can never be erased. Your every move, though silent, will have an impact that no one can deny. The results will be so loud, so undeniable, that the world will have no choice but to acknowledge your presence. Even if it takes time, even if it takes years. The silent moves you make today will echo across the future in ways that will reverberate through time itself. You are entering a new world, one where you create reality with every breath, every thought, every step you take. The universe is watching, but it is not waiting for you to be noticed by others. It is waiting for you to notice yourself, to realize the incredible power you possess when you choose to remain silent and steady in the face of chaos. The world will tell you to shout, to fight, to scream for attention. It will tell you to take shortcuts, to grab at what you can, but none of that matters here. The dimension you've entered doesn't need noise. It needs conviction. It needs a quiet certainty that you will do what you must to claim what is yours. The silence is not weakness. It is strength. It is focus. It is discipline. The silent moves you make now will be the foundation of everything you will build in the future. You are laying the groundwork for something monumental, and while others are busy making noise and running in circles, you will be moving with precision, with intention, with purpose. The more they shout, the quieter you become. The more they panic, the more you center yourself. You will not be swayed by the whims of the world. You will not be moved by what others say, think, or do. Your path is your own, and it leads to a place where the silence of your actions is more powerful than any spoken word. Your results will speak for themselves. They will echo long after the noise has faded away. This is where the true test begins. It's not about how loud you can be. It's about how quietly you can move, how deeply you can commit to the journey without losing sight of your goal. The people around you may not understand. They may question your quiet nature. They may criticize you for not conforming to their expectations. But you don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You have already entered a dimension where the only thing that matters is your unwavering commitment to yourself, your focus, your belief, your silent, unyielding movement forward. And when you reach your destination, when you look back at the journey you've taken, you will know that it was your quiet strength, your silent moves that made the difference. It was your commitment to doing the work, to staying steady and calm that brought you here. And when the results come, they will be so immense, so overwhelming, that nothing in this world will be able to ignore them. The noise is temporary. The chaos is fleeting. The distractions are everywhere. But the silence you choose, that will last. It will build. It will grow. And soon enough, it will be louder than anything the world can throw at you. You have chosen this path, this dimension, and now it is time to move. No more waiting. No more doubting. No more hesitating. The silent moves you make today will determine the course of your future. And those moves, though unseen, will reverberate through the fabric of reality itself. Keep moving. Keep striving. Keep working. The results will come. They will come so forcefully, so powerfully, that the silence you embrace will turn into a roar that the world will not be able to ignore. And when that moment comes, when the deafening results are undeniable, you will know that it was your quiet determination that led you here. And so, as you stand here at the crossroads of this new dimension, know that your journey has only just begun. The world will not understand the quiet intensity you possess. It will question your methods, it will criticize your stillness, but none of that matters. You are no longer bound by the constraints of external validation or societal expectations. You are operating on a frequency that transcends the noise, a frequency that only a few can hear and fewer still can master. In this dimension, silence is your greatest weapon. It is in the stillness that you find your power. It is in the quiet moves you make that your true strength is revealed. Every action you take, though invisible to the casual observer, ripples through the fabric of existence, creating a series of effects that no one can predict. And when the results begin to emerge, when the world starts to feel the weight of your work, they will realize too late that they underestimated the quiet storm you have been building all along. You are not here to conform. You are not here to follow the well-worn path. You are not here to seek applause or recognition. You are here to create something so profound, so undeniable, that it will echo through time long after you've moved on. It is your silence that gives you the edge, your silence that sharpens your focus, your silence that allows you to stay centered and undistracted. When others are caught in the frenzy of their own noise, you will remain unmoved, your path clear and unwavering. Remember, the results of your silent moves will always be louder than the voices of doubt, louder than the critics, louder than the chaos of the world around you. Your results will be undeniable because they are born from an inner conviction that is impossible to break. The noise will fade, the distractions will disappear, but your actions, your silent commitment will endure. When you look back on this moment, you will see the path you carved with every step you took in silence. You will understand that it was not the loud proclamations that brought you success, but the quiet consistency, the refusal to be swayed, the strength to move forward when no one was watching. Your journey will not be measured in applause or recognition, but in the depth of your own self-discipline, the power of your focus, and the results that only time can reveal. So take this moment to fully embrace the dimension you now inhabit. The world will call it silence. You will call it your foundation. The world will think you are still. You will know that you are in motion, creating, shaping, and building. The world will doubt you. You will remain unmoved, knowing that your quiet moves are the most potent force in existence, and when the results come, they will be louder than anything anyone could have ever imagined. Your journey is not about speed. It's not about immediacy. It's about persistence, resilience, and the unwavering belief in the quiet power you carry. Your success is not a question of if, but when. It's not about being noticed. It's about being unstoppable. So keep moving forward in silence. Let the results speak for themselves.